Hello friends, in this video I'll introduce you to a new subject, that is control system. I'll define what is meant by control system. Along with that, I'll give you a complete insight of the same. Let us begin. Let us understand the concept of control system. So when it comes to control system, I would break this in two parts, that is system, and then we'll understand what is the meaning of control, and then combinedly we'll understand what is meant by a control system. So let us define what is system. We define system as collection of some physical parameter. This collection of physical parameter comes together, it forms entire unit, and this unit had certain objective. I repeat my definition of system. System is defined as a collection of physical parameters together which forms an entire unit with certain objective. So what I just said, I'll just write it in the form of points here. So try to understand this. So system is defined as a unit which is formed along with the collection of some physical parameters together, and it has certain objective. For example, let's say if I'm talking about a bulb. So when I'm talking about a bulb, I define bulb as a system because bulb is made up of some physical parameters like a glass along with a filament. So this is a filament along with the glass. It forms a bulb. So can I say bulb looks like some unit which has internally some physical parameters like a filament along with a glass. Am I right? And then it has got certain objective. The objective of a bulb is to give a light. And therefore, I can take this as an example of the system. Or else, I can also say a kite is also system. Why? Because a kite is made up of paper along with the stick, along with the string also. Then it becomes a system. So kite, bulb, I can define them as a system because they are actually collection of some physical parameter. It looks like some unit and definitely it had certain objective. So only bulb will not do. I mean, a bulb should be supplied. So it needs a supply along with a switch. It is going to form a complete system. Am I right? So definitely bulb is itself a system, but then the system is not going to function until and unless you are going to have some extra arrangement. So let me draw that extra arrangement. So extra arrangement could be a switch along with some supply. So without supply and a switch, a bulb or a system is useless. Am I right? So this part, that is switch along with the supply, I would say it is a controller. So this is a controller. So try to understand. Controller along with the system forms a control system because system itself cannot control itself. Am I right? You need some control elements in order to make that system to be functional one. Likewise, the kite itself is not functional. Am I right? So definitely, let's say some child is playing with this kite, is going to control this kite, and therefore this child who is handling the kite is called as a controller. In fact, we can define a classroom as a system. For example, when I say a classroom, this classroom consists of some physical parameters like bench. So it had some benches over here, then it has some blackboard along with the chalks. Am I right? Now, every classroom is incomplete without students. Am I right? So I can define a classroom as a system because it consists of some physical parameters like benches, blackboard, chalk, a wall, a ceiling, along with the fan or maybe air conditioner, and along with the students, it forms a unit. And definitely, this classroom has also got some objective, like students are coming here to learn something, or teachers are coming in the classroom to deliver some knowledge to students. So, even classroom I can define as a system. But then, let me tell you, a classroom without controller, that is, without teacher, a classroom can be considered as uncontrolled system. Am I right? Because whenever teacher is not present in the classroom, you know that how and what a chaos is going on in the classroom. So I would say a teacher or a faculty will act as a controller. So teacher along with the classroom I can define as a control system. A child playing with a kite, so child I can consider as a controller. A kite can be defined as system. So a child along with a kite I can again say it is also a control system. A power supply along with a switch playing a role of controller along with the bulb I can again define as a control system. So in daily life, whatever systems that you see which are functional, definitely they are functional because there is a controller working behind it. And definitely a controller along with the system forms a control system. So I'm sure you have understood what is exactly mean by a control system. Now, along with this, we should understand what are the terminologies used in control system, because whenever now you start learning this subject, as soon as we progress ahead, then you will see some terms which are used like a stability, like a bibo stability, then you will heard something called as plant, then you will hear something called as feedback, you will see something called as oscillations, you will see open loop control system, you will see closed loop control system. So all those terminologies should be clear to us. So let us try to cover some terminologies which are used in control system. So when I'm saying system, we can say even a human being is itself a system, and every human being needs some stability in their life. Like it could be a financial stability, or it can be some mental stability. So every system is actually, looking for a stability. But then when I'm talking about a human being, then I can say about a financial stability or mental stability. Okay. But then when it comes to a non-living thing, then a non-living thing is even itself a system, but then that system has got no brain, or that system has no worries about a money. So again, a mental stability and financial stability becomes useless terms when it comes to a non-living thing, but even that system has to look for a stability. So what kind of stability what other systems are looking for? And that is something called as a bibo stability. So the control system that we are going to look after is also looking for some stability called as a bibo stability. So let us understand what is meant by a bibo stability. So here bibo stands for bounded input, bounded output. So let us understand what is meant by bibo stability. So a system which, if it takes bounded input and in turn it is producing bounded output, then I can say the system is said to be a bibo stable, that is bounded input and bounded output stable. So what is meant by bounded input? See, for example, if I'm drawing some input over here like this, let me assume my input is x of t, let me assume my output as y of t. So here I have tried to draw x of t with respect to time. Let us assume the amplitude is 1 over here, and let me assume up to 2 seconds I'm applying this pulse. So in this x of t pulse, as you can see, the maximum amplitude is 1 and the minimum amplitude is 0. I mean to say, here amplitude nowhere approaching to infinity. Please understand my statement. Here amplitude of the pulse is nowhere approaching to infinity. then I can define that pulse as a bounded pulse, or I can define that input x of t as a bounded input. So this is actually called as a bounded input. So please understand, any characteristic which is having finite amplitude throughout time, then it is called as a bounded input. For example, so as you can see here, in a first characteristic, amplitude is finite over the time. Even in second case, amplitude is finite over the time. Even in third case, amplitude is finite over the time. So every characteristic that I have drawn over here, all of them refers to bounded one. So every input that I have given over here is a bounded input nature. So we define that for bounded input, if we get bounded output without localized oscillation, then I can say that a system is said to be a Bibo stable system. So what is exactly mean by bounded output? See, we understand the way your input looks, which is bounded, the same way your output should look, which is also bounded, but then without localized oscillations. So let us understand what is meant by without localized oscillations. For example, for the given x of t, let's say if you are getting this kind of y of t, which I'm drawing right now. So this is, let's say, y of t, that is with respect to time. So I can define this y of t as a bounded output. So this is considered as a bounded output. So for bounded input, since I'm getting bounded output, then I can define the system is a stable system. And this stability is called as a Bibo stability, that is bounded input, bounded output. It is very simple. For bounded input, if your system is producing bounded output only, then I can say that a system is said to be stable. Now in real time, I can say that you can take some example of a human being. Okay, then that human being, again, person to person, his sensitivity, it can vary. For example, a person could be a less sensitive, so it doesn't react so much for the argument which is done by some other person. Okay, so you can define the system as if he is a human, and input you can say some argument which is passed by some other human. So depending upon the sensitivity of the human, he can react in a limited way, or it might happen that he just loses his control and then he becomes unstable. So depending upon whether you get bounded output or not, then we can say whether the system is said to be stable or not. For example, if for given x of t, if you are getting such y of t, which I'm right now drawing, as you can see here, you have some bounded output only, and then at the end, as you can see, you get a steady state output without oscillations. Then even in this case, I can define this as bounded output. But if you remember, when I said the definition of Bibo stability, it is defined as for a bounded input, if you get bounded output without localized oscillations. As you can see, there are oscillations present, but then this oscillation is not lasting longer. I mean, these oscillations are dying out at the end, and at the end, you are getting a steady state output. And therefore, I can define this as a bounded output without localized oscillations, and still, the system is said to be a Bibo stable system. But for example, if you're getting such output, as you can see in this, you're getting bounded output only, am I right? But then at the end, these oscillations are long lasting. I mean, these oscillations are never ending. Then this type of oscillation, which is never settling itself, is considered as the localized oscillations. And since these localized oscillations are present, I would define the system has to be unstable system. So even though the output is seems to be a bounded one, but since a localized oscillations are present in the output, then I would define the system as unstable system. So let me define Bibo stability now. So this is the exact definition of a Bibo stable system, a system with bounded input and bounded output, but that bounded output should be without localized oscillations. That is, it shouldn't have long lasting oscillations. Otherwise, even though it appears to be bounded output, it is still unstable system. So as we have already defined this Bibo stability, it should have bounded input and bounded output. So this is bounded input and this is bounded output. I can say system is stable. For example, if you have bounded input, but let's say you have this kind of output. So this is, let's say, y of t with respect to time. As you can see, this amplitude is increasing. So definitely at some time it will approach to infinity. So such output which are approaching to infinity at some given time, then these are considered to be unbounded output and therefore it is unstable. For example, for such bounded input, if you are getting this kind of output, let's say this is y of t with respect to time, even in this case I would say it is unstable system, because even though your output is bounded, why I'm saying output is bounded, because every oscillation, that is a sinusoidal oscillation, have got some maximum amplitude and minimum amplitude, and it oscillates between maximum and minimum. Am I right? So I cannot say it is unbounded, but at the same time, the output is not settling to a constant value, or it is present with a localized oscillations, that is, oscillations which are lasting longer, and therefore I would say it is unstable system. So even though my output seems to be what? A bounded one, but since it has localized oscillations, I would say it is still unstable system. I'm sure you have understood this term called as a Bibo stability of the system. So a control system, or rather I would say a system, is classified into two categories, that is open loop control system and a closed loop control system. So let me just technically define what is meant by open loop control system and what is meant by a closed loop control system. And after that, I'll give you some real time examples so you can actually relate and you can remember it forever, and you would have absolutely no confusion between open loop control system and closed loop control system. So let me just define it technically. Let me first of all define the open loop control system. It is very simple. See, if input changes, output changes. Of course, for any system, we can say it's a common sense that if input changes, output is bound to change. So if input changes, then it gets reflected in output, or output changes, but change in output is not going to affect the input. Am I right? So let me define some system here. Had some input and had some output. So change in input changes the output, but change in output is not going to alter the input. Am I right? Because there is absolutely no connection between output and input. And therefore, I can say that since there is no connection from output to input, but yes, there is a connection from input to output, then I can say that when input changes, output changes, but change in output doesn't affect the input, such system is considered to be open loop control system. So I have written the definition of open loop control system. That is, if input changes, output will change, but change in output does not affect the input. So exactly reverse thing is going to happen in closed loop control system. In fact, we would say there is some advancement. If done in open loop control system, it becomes a closed loop control system. That is, if input changes, outputs are definitely going to change, but change in output, if it is going to alter the input of the system, then I would say it is a closed loop control system. So here, if input changes, then I would say output changes, but then change in output is also going to alter the input of system. So I would say change in output will alter the input of system, then I would say it is a closed loop control system. So when it is possible, so I would draw a rough structure for the same. So of course, if input changes, output is going to change. But then there is an extra element called as a feedback element. So this feedback element is going to sense the output, and then it is going to feed back to input. So we have some summing point kind of stuff here. So I'll make you understand what is meant by summing point, what is the job of summing point, so what it really does. As you can see, input and outputs are connected in this way, and therefore if input changes, it is going to change the output. But change in output is also, sensed by your feedback element, and definitely it is going to somehow change input of the system. So this is input of the system which I have marked just now. And this type of system, where a system along with the feedback mechanism is called as a closed loop control system, and a system without presence of feedback element, then it is considered to be open loop control system. Of course, when we compare open loop control system with closed loop control system, we see the extra element is present as a feedback element in closed loop control system, which is going to increase the cost of the overall system. Am I right? Yes, we are going to discuss in detail every system that is open loop and closed loop. As I said, after defining them technically, I was about to give you some real-time examples. Let's see those examples and then you get more clarity. So now we are going to see real-time examples of system. So first of all, we'll concentrate on open loop control system. I would say a washing machine can be example of an open loop control system. So let me take an example of a washing machine. So what is the input for washing machine? Of course, it has got no one input, but then it is a mixture of input together. That is, along with the power supply, along with a water, along with a detergent. So these are mixture of inputs. So I would define some input here. And what is the output of the washing machine? Of course, output of the washing machine is clean clothes. So I would say output is nothing but clean clothes. Am I right? So what is the process that happens in washing machine? That is cleaning the clothes, or we would say washing the clothes, and output of the system, I would say it is clean clothes. So as I said, your input consists of mainly two elements, that is water along with a detergent. So now let me define the open loop control system. For example, if we are using not a normal water, but let's say if the supply itself is a hard water, and along with that, and let's say if you are using a normal quality of detergent, then do you think you will get a good quality of clean clothes? Answer is no. Am I right? What does that mean? If the quality of water and detergent is poor, then definitely cleanliness is going to affect. I hope you're getting my point. But for example, if we are using a good quality of water along with a nice quality of detergent, then definitely output that we are supposed to get from the same washing machine would be a cleaner cloth. Am I right? Or you're going to get a good quality of a cleanliness of the cloth. So it means that if your input changes, then outputs are going to change. But please understand, change in output is not going to affect the input. That is, if something goes wrong in cleanliness of the cloth, then it is not going to feedback, or it is not going to inform the input parameters of the washing machine. So here we can say a washing machine is straight away an open loop control system, where if input changes, that is a water and a detergent quality changes, it is going to affect on the cleanliness of the cloth, and cleanliness of the cloth is not going to affect or alter the level of water or the kind of detergent that you are going to use. So therefore I can define as a open loop control system as a washing machine. I can give you a second example, that is a fan, which is, let's say, operated with some regulator. So I would define, regulator as a input to the fan, and then I would say speed of rotation as output. So if you move the knob of regulator, then according to the selected speed, the fan is going to rotate. That is, the position of regulator is going to decide a speed of rotation with which a fan is rotating. Am I right? Or the blades of fans are rotating. So I would say here, if input changes, that is a position of the regulator changes, then output, that is RPM, speed of the rotation of the motor, is going to change. But then a speed of rotation is not going to affect or alter the position of regulator. Again, this is the best example of the open loop control system that we see in daily life. I hope the point that open loop control system is clear to you. If input changes, outputs are going to change, but change in output is not going to alter or to affect the input of the system, and therefore they are considered to be open loop control system. Here outputs are not affecting input because there is no reverse connection from output to input, and a reverse connection from output to input is possible only with a feedback element. So we know that there is absolutely no feedback, then there is no reverse connection from output to input. We would define them as open loop control system. Let's move to a closed loop control system now. So we can take an example of air conditioner. So I would draw air conditioner system here. So air conditioner consists of the compressor, and then you may have some cooling system here, which is controlled by a compressor, and of course output is what? A cool temperature. Am I right? So let me define the output of the air conditioner as output temperature. So you know that when you are setting some temperature, or whenever you are turning the AC, then you have a remote, and on the remote we got a flexibility, or we got a facility to set a particular temperature. So what is the input of AC? I would say it is a reference temperature. The reference temperature is that temperature to which we want our AC to operate. Am I right? For example, if I set the temperature at 16 on the remote, it means it is desired from the air conditioner that it must keep the room temperature to 16 degrees Celsius. I hope you got my point. So at input, what we give is a reference temperature. Am I right? But then let's say if you have a reference temperature as 16 degrees Celsius, and of course whenever you have, let's say, not turned on the AC, okay, so during that, let us assume the room temperature was 30 degrees Celsius. Am I right? Then what is going to happen, that it is going to sensed by a temperature sensor. So there is a temperature sensor which is present in AC. Now let us say we have turned on our AC. 16 degrees Celsius is a reference temperature. As you can see, output is right now 30 degrees Celsius. It is sensed by the sensor. So what we are going to get from here is 30 degrees Celsius. Am I right? Then as you can see, there is a negative sign, and this block or this point is called as a summing point. So this is called a summing point. The job of summing point is to add two inputs. As you can see, the first input is a reference temperature which is positive, and the second temperature or a second input, I would say, since it has got negative sign, it is going to subtract them. So there would be some difference over here. So some difference would be there. This difference is referred to as error. Why I'm saying this as error? Because what temperature that I want is 16 degrees Celsius, but in reality the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. So there is some difference between them, and since I wanted to take a difference, I'm putting a negative sign here. This negative sign indicates it is a negative feedback. So this is called as a negative feedback. Of course, we have two types of feedback, that is a positive feedback and negative feedback. But then what is the advantage of having positive feedback, when to use positive feedback, when to use negative feedback, and what is the exact comparison between positive feedback and negative feedback, we are going to study in possibly next lecture. So right now we are not going to look after this. What we are going to look after from our application perspective, that I'm going to use over here as a negative feedback, right? So because of some error is present, then accordingly the compressor is instructed. The compressor compresses more air in order to get a more cooling action, and then because of that the temperature lowers to, let's say, 25 degrees Celsius, because now a cooling action had started, but then it doesn't reach to 16 degrees Celsius immediately. Still it is sensed by a temperature sensor. This time error is not 30 degrees Celsius, okay, or I would say actual temperature is not 30 degrees Celsius, it is 25 degrees Celsius. Again 16 degrees Celsius is again compared with 25 degrees Celsius, but still there is some error, and on this error compressor is going to react. It is going to again compress more air, and again a cooling action happens. Then it slowly drops to, let's say, 16 degrees Celsius. Since it has dropped to 16 degrees Celsius, now the reference temperature and the actual temperature is same. I would say error equal to 0. So it is possible with closed loop control system only. That is, your input is going to affect the output, and as you have seen, the change in output is going to affect the input of system. But let me tell you, your input of system, I would say an error signal. So I would say this is actually input of system now, which we define as an error. So as you can see, by comparison of a reference temperature and the actual temperature, the error, that is input of the system, is changing, and according to that it is trying to bring our error to zero error. So this is how this closed loop control system really works. So I would give you one more example of the closed loop control system, and then we'll conclude this lecture. So I would say even a human body is considered to be a closed loop control system. So let me just take one task. For example, let's say there is some book which is placed on some table, and the job of mine is to touch that book. It's very simple. See, there is some book that I have seen which is placed on the table, and let's say I want to touch that book. So how the system is going to work? So for reference, it would be position of book. So looking at the position of book, my brain gets some stimulus. Am I right? Looking at the position of book, my brain gets some stimulus, and depending upon the signal which is sent by brain to my hands are going to take a certain position in order to touch the book. I hope you got my point. So for me, what was the task? The task was to touch the book. So position of the book becomes a reference input for me. It is given to the brain. Then brain gives some stimulating signal to hands, and according to that my hands take a certain position in order to touch the book. So what is the output? I would say output would be position of hands. So please understand that whenever a position of hands matches with a position of a book or a location of the book, then only I can touch the book. I hope you'll are agree with that. But then instantly it is not possible, and then it is detected by eyes. So eyes is going to look after the position of hands, and then it is going to give a feedback, and again this would be a negative feedback. So these eyes are providing position of hands. Again, position of book and position of hands are compared. When it comes to comparison, we always follow a subtraction. So therefore, we use a negative feedback at the most. Again, it gives some error signal to brain, letting the brain to know that the position of hand and position of book is not same. Again, brain gives some more stimulus to hands. According to that, again hands take another position, and it makes sure that this time position of ant and position of book matches with each other, so error reduces to 0. So this type of control system along with the negative feedback makes sure that your error reduces to 0, or we would say that it keeps on looping itself until and unless error reduces to 0. So this is how the closed loop control system really works. But technically, what is closed loop control system? Let us see. So technically, this is a controller which is analogous to brain. What we have in the position of hands is a system. We know that controller along with the system forms a control system. Then we had eyes over here, which is using as feedback, or I would say the analogous thing, we can have a feedback element. The position of book in general I can say as a reference input, and of course this is output, but this is not only output, it is rather we would say controlled output. So this is called as a controlled output. Then definitely this is considered as error signal. Depending upon error signal, controller manipulates the system, and therefore this is called as a manipulated output. So depending upon the manipulation that is sent by a controller, system is going to operate in such a way that error somehow reduces to 0. And then most importantly, you have to look after this either positive or negative symbol. So positive indicates whether it is positive feedback, and negative indicates it is a negative feedback. We cannot have two feedbacks at the same time. We can have at a time as a positive feedback, or you may have a negative feedback. So here when I'm drawing positive and negative together, I'm just trying to emphasize a generalized system in front of you. Thank you.